All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Looking at analytics of my webpage, 68% of people watching these videos are not subscribers. Please subscribe. Please comment below and look at the other people commenting below. Go to their channel. Look at what they're doing. Ask them questions. You get down this rabbit hole of soil health from one channel to the other, and it opens up a whole network of good people that are doing good work. John, can I do soil health on my farm even though my soil has da-da-da-da? And I love this because it's so fun at these conferences, sitting at the dinner table, out in the hall in between breakout sessions to listen to the farmers talk. And they went there, they paid money to be there, so you know that they want to kind of get this to work. But they're still, you know, they're you can picture like a kid at the pool. They got their foot just kind of dipping their toe in the water. They're just waiting for somebody just to walk along and poof, push them in and sink or swim, baby. Sink or swim. But yeah, it's fun listening to people, and it's hilarious because location doesn't matter. Everybody thinks they're cold and wet. Everybody thinks they're heavy soil. Everybody thinks they're light soil. Everybody thinks they're clay, blah, 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 blah. You hear the same line. From the naysayers, it's the same line, irregardless of location. It's why we have the conventional tiller's oath, is because it doesn't work here because we're too far north, we're too cold, we're too wet. We need to warm and dry the soil. We need to fix compaction. And it's great. I just laugh when I hear Southern Indiana folks say that phrase. Southern Illinois, you know, I can't laugh enough. We were minus 20 yesterday. We were minus 14 this morning. We're up to 7 below now. Our soil temp several weeks, almost a month ago, at 4 inches down. At 4 inches down was 5 degrees. We are not going to have corn rootworm this year. We're not going to have a lot of big insect problems in the fields this year because they're dead. They're dead. When the soil temperature hits 5 degrees at 4 inches down, we took care of a lot of insect and disease pressure. But yeah, so some characteristics of our soil. If we take the manure tank through, we make a rut, just like anybody else's soil makes a rut. Some guy's soil, the 5% black, that crust in the rut is like concrete. Other soil like ours, it's not quite hard like concrete, but it's hard enough. It's going to impede water flow. Our soil gets compact when it gets dry. We don't have to travel on our soil to get compaction. Our soil by nature gets very tight. According to the University of Minnesota Extension folks, our soil is defined as yuck. According to Pioneer, we are a yield-limited environment. Our soil, according to the University of Minnesota folks, is about the worst combination you could have to try to get into no-till and soil health kind of farming, which makes it the best candidate to do this practice on. You have a very high loam, high clay content, sandy soil on top of a very hard, tight clay. It's still granule. It's large granule, but don't let that fool you. It gets tight. We have tile on the farm, and it was useless. It was tits on a board useless. At 2 feet down, 0 water got to that pipe. The water just sits on top of the soil. We have to rely on the ditch to carry it away because the tile would be dry. It'd be bone dry. I showed the video last summer. We had water sitting in the pond for 3 weeks in that little low spot in the field. 3 weeks. But yet I could still shove the tile or the garden spade down. It wasn't overly compacted. Our soil just does not move water. Plain and simple. It's a tight clay. Now working with some farmers in central Minnesota that are trying to get going on this path, and then seeing farmers that are on this path. And so it's kind of funny, the couple guys are like, oh man, I don't know if we can do this because our tilled soil, you know, it's so mucky, black, sticky, gooey mess. And then you bring them over to the guy that's doing it, and you show them that when you pull the planter through the field, you don't need gauge wheel scrapers. Your tail wheel, your closing wheels aren't pulling the black muck right off of the seed trench. Your seed tube isn't covering up with muck because it's wet and you're trying to beat the next rain. They're just out there driving through a bunch of green winter rye, planting beans like any other day, no dust rolling. The planter row units are clean, the ground's stable. The tires and tracks aren't just being mucked up when they pull out of the field. They're not leaving a trail down the road for 3 miles. They don't have to come back with a loader tractor or skid steer to scrape the road off because big chunks are falling between the duals. At least that's what a responsible farmer would do. And so, yeah, it's so fun. The same things that work here work there, and there. Just a little bit different. Some guys need to use winter rye to go ahead of soybeans. We need to crimp and roll it flat to protect our soils from the July and August sun. Other guys, they want to terminate chemically on that rye so they can leave it stand to allow that soil to still breathe and flow air and moisture and evaporation off the soil. They don't want that mat laying on the soil retaining moisture. So it's the same practice, just a little bit different management. And the compaction fighting thing, that's the same everywhere. Everybody gets, when you compress soil, that's compacted soil by definition. You know, that's irregardless of your soil type. Like I said, some just gets harder than others. How do we alleviate that? With roots in the ground, fix compaction. Why are we doing compaction? One, because we're trying to force a crop in our time frame, so sometimes we have to go out when the field's in bad condition. How can we minimize that? With a lot of residue on the surface and a lot of roots below. The roots below are going to help with infiltration. I've shown many videos already from last summer. Had the videos where the water sat on top and for 3 weeks, but we also had the videos of how that water just followed my strip till right on down, gets into that sub, it sits on top of that clay and just kind of hangs out, and it just slowly moves down. Well, by that water sitting on top of that clay, that softens that clay. When that clay is dry, a little John Deere 35 mini backhoe isn't digging through that clay. You do not have enough weight on that machine for a 1-foot bucket to dig through that clay. But when that clay is wet and saturated, you dig through that stuff all day long. You might not get it out of your bucket, but you're going to get it in your bucket. Well, the corn roots are the same way. That clay gets moist from the strip till, allows water to get right to that clay. The roots grow down, the roots actually start to punch through that clay. Well, then after several years of that, now we have a lot of roots going through that clay. Now we get better water infiltration, and then we bring in the cereals and grasses and other shallow root, thick, dense hair type root systems to really add a bunch of tilth to that shallow. Doesn't matter your soil type. Every soil type is going to love a lot of shallow roots and some deep roots. That's how you alleviate water ponding. That's how you reduce your need on tile. That's how you fix your compaction. That's how you park your disc ripper. I will ask again. I have yet to see a conventional farmer answer me the question, if you fix compaction, how come you need to bring the disc ripper out again? I thought you fixed it the last time you pulled the disc ripper. If I wanted to sell a disc ripper on our soils, I'd go around in July and August when the farmers are kind of quiet, things are starting to settle down, they're getting ready for fall. I would take them out to their fields with a tile probe, and I'd show them all the compaction. Be like, yep, boy, you need a disc ripper here. That's just the nature of our soil. And the funny thing is you're going to disc rip it, finish it next spring, plant on top, and the first couple rains we have, guess what? The compaction is right back. The soil just settles right back in. Water moving through our profile tightens our soil up. Midsummer, I can jump on a shovel till I'm blue in the face. I'm not putting that shovel in the ground. That shovel will just bite in the ground and it just stays there. We have the southern Pine County, northern Chisago County is just this tight clay on top of clay soil. It's how it is when it's dry. And it sloughs. Like different snowpack layers in the mountain, it sloughs off. And that's why we get so much erosion. And since it won't take any water, it just seals up. And it won't take water in. That's why when I had the videos last summer of my neighbor's water running across the road into my field, and yet in our field we had water going into the ground and not out the drainage ditch. And so there is proof of improvement. It's easy. It does not matter what soil you're on. It just takes a little bit different management and some patience and time. You've had how many generations of destroying that soil? How about we give it one generation, a half a generation, 10 years of trying to heal the soil, and then come back and say it doesn't work here, because it will work there. I don't care where you're at. If it doesn't work there, it's because of you, not because of your soil. Guys, and a discussion. I got to get going. Comments below. Please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.